I got some ideas, I got some pals, let's get together and pitch some games. Time for everyone's favorite sports franchise that's not a dumb sports franchise that pits Sonic against Mario, because that makes sense. We are talking about Punch-Out, the not so punchy boxing game, but more of the punchy puzzle game. And yes, so Shay, what's your experience with this series?
Very little. I think I had a friend that played it, actually.
So, this started off as an arcade game, and then it was ported to the consoles, 87, I believe, for the Nintendo, and at least in America, I should say. And there's only been three console Punch-Out games. There's Punch-Out for the Nintendo, or Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, I should say, before it was changed. There was Super Punch-Out for the Super Nintendo, and then there was the Wii one. And the Super Nintendo one came out in the 90s, and so there was a huge gap when the Wii one came out in 2009, 10-ish. So there was definitely like a resurgence when that came out. And you know, it's kind of been dormant since. Little Mac has been announced for the new Smash Brothers game, and that was exciting because it's Little Mac, and he's a boxer. Why is he not in a fighting game? That's crazy.
Yeah.
You got fucking Jigglypuff. You got a lot of worthless things in Smash Brothers that no one wants. What? Why in the original? Hey, you know we got this huge cast of Nintendo characters. Let's just palette swap Mario out for Dr. Mario. Are you kidding me? You didn't have anything original ideas back in that day. Come on, come on.
Serious.
What are you
Serious,
doing?
guys.
With Westbrook. So yeah, I myself have played them all. Never beaten them. I get to a point where it's like I can't figure it out, even after watching YouTube videos and stuff and trying to figure out the patterns. Which I should explain that these are boxing games, but they're more like rhythm puzzle games because you got to figure out little ticks from the other players, and you got to figure out when is the best time to strike. And if you know it right, you can avoid being hit in the game. And there's even people that are crazy enough where there was a charity stream a couple months ago where a guy made it through almost the complete game with his blindfold on,
Huh.
just because you can tell from the sound effects they use in the original Punch-Out when things were about to happen. So that is pretty baller
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
pretty
Of course,
badass.
he's had to play it for like a long time, but just that is so much detail where there's no really game that's. I mean, you can tell sounds in many games, but not like Punch Out. Punch Out is all about the rhythm and everything, and just like the sound effects, and you can just. It's so crazy that it's so detailed back in the Nintendo that someone could able to be blindfolded and get that far just from the design of it. And Punch Out is has diminishing returns. I mean, it's a boxing game, it's a puzzle game. A lot of it's reused throughout the series. Every new title, there's like a swap of like different characters and stuff. And so it's not something that really needs a game every couple years, but maybe every console. I mean, like I said, there was Nintendo, Super Nintendo, so that was going quite along, and then they're like, oh, let's stop that. And I don't know if they just didn't sell well or what. And the Wii Wing came out, and that was really really cool. I don't know if it was the stereotypes that made Nintendo like stop, because these are stereotypes. There's like a drunk guy. There's a big fat Hawaiian guy. There's like there's like a French guy, and they're all stereotyped, but everyone's being stereotyped in the game. It's like a cartoon. You're not gonna make fun of Big Bags Bunny, the Egyptian knockoff Bags Bunny. You're not gonna make fun of Bugs Bunny for doing all this hijinks and all that racism back in the day. And of course, if you did that nowadays, yeah, it's gonna be frowned upon because it was a different time. But I suppose the same could be said for Punch Out. But at the same time, it's not like, do you know that Chinese people are good at math and that they have small penises? Like, no, they're not. They're just small little things. Like Piston Honda. He's Japanese and he has like the kamikaze band on, and like the French guy is kind of like a little kind of wimpy and has a baguette. And okay, maybe that's more that's more of a downside of maybe the stereotyping or whatever, but
Right.
I don't know. It's all harmless. It's Nintendo, and I don't know why they, like I said, they brought it away and then came back, and it hasn't been touched since. But I mean, like I said, it's not something that you really need every few years. But every console should deserve one. I mean, they're fun. They're hard, but they're fun, and I think that should just. I don't know how I would reboot it. I guess just like actually redoing everything, where bring in a whole new cast of people and maybe let players in versus mode let them be the other boxers. And of course, that would take a lot more programming in order to like balance everything out between different boxers and stuff.
Yeah.
But it'd be a change of pace, and that would actually turn it into more of a boxing game because there'd be nothing to distinguish it then at that point between having just like the one character of the Mac going against all these like different challenges and stuff like that. So
Right.
I don't know. Even if you make it like a little smaller titles or whatever, I think it'd be nice to see it come on a more regular basis or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. Do you have any opinions on Punch
Um,
Out?
I'm always for fighting games. I'm not particularly great at them, but I still like them.
Yeah, that's no bashing game. Maybe they should actually like give boxing a try where it's not about rhythm, but of course at that point you would be getting rid of the appeal of what makes Punch Out. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's a hard game to even like talk about because you can't really spin it off into something crazy because it's a sports game at its core with like puzzle
What?
attractions. So
You mean you find out Mac's girlfriend's been stolen by the mafia, and now he's gotta go to the streets to get her back? Do 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 do
yeah,
do
you
do
could
do
give it a
do
story, but
Double Dragons Punch Out.
you know what? Actually, they could make it into a beat 'em up. That would make sense. Where you do the side-scrolling stages, and at the end you got to fight the person, and then it turns into a boxing match. It's just something like that. I mean, you could just that's kind of like
You could have it be.
adding a little bit in
He
between,
could get power
I
ups too.
guess.
Use the Thunder Fist. Cacao.
Like in Pokemon, yeah. I mean, there's small little things that would make sense in that kind of world, and I don't know. It'd be interesting, and
See, Thunder Fist is a sound move, whereas Lightning Fist, he just moves so fast that he hits them before they have time to.
yeah, no matter what.
Hits them before they realize what's going on.
What if it's like Mega Man, and he like gains their powers?
See? There's a rock, paper, scissors element to it.
Yeah. There's ideas they could
Like,
incorporate into this formula, I suppose.
For a couple of the first guys, you gotta just like. You gotta just keep going. Don't go into any kind of defensive mode, because that's when the guy will like just come at you with the really hard heavy like haymakers.
A wrench.
You could.
Remember when they used to put like horseshoes and boxing gloves? Or was that just in cartoons? I don't know if
If
that
you
was
can
real or
dodge a
not.
wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Well, on that note,